The townsfolk believed in the power of myths, and when the moon waxed full, so too did their fears. The townsfolk believed in the power of myths, and when the moon waxed full, so too did their fears. It was then that the tales of the werewolf resurfaced with a fervor, wrapping around Grey Hollow like the shimmering frost that blanketed the ground each morning. 17-year-old Emma had grown up hearing her grandmother's stories about the old mansion at the edge of the woods, the Gwendolyn estate. It was said that the previous owner, an eccentric scholar, had meddled with the supernatural, searching for the means to harness the dark. After his strange disappearance, the mansion became a ghost of its former self, shrouded by the eerie tales of a family cursed by the moon. With Halloween just around the corner, Emma and her friends, Lila and Jake, decided it was the perfect time to explore the abandoned estate. The thrill of the unknown pumped adrenaline into their veins. They gathered flashlights, horror movies, and their usual bravado, laughing off the absurd notions of werewolves as mere superstition. As they approached the Gwendolyn estate under the silvery glow of the full moon, the air turned heavy, and an unmistakable chill crept up Emma's spine. Large shadowy trees loomed over the mansion, their gnarled branches clawing at the sky as if warning the trio to turn back. When they reached the front porch, the rotting wood creaked eerily beneath their feet. "This place is just falling apart," Jake scoffed, nudging the door open. It swung wide, revealing a dark interior that seemed to breathe around them. A stale smell, laced with mildew and decay, wafted out as if the house itself were exhaling a long-held breath. "Let's split up, meet back in 30?" Lila suggested, her voice barely concealing her excitement as she raced inside. Emma noticed the way a shadow flitted behind a cracked window as they separated but quickly brushed it off as a trick of the light. Minutes turned into an hour. Emma and Jake wandered through dusty rooms filled with remnants of a forgotten era, faded portraits, broken furniture, and strange symbols etched into the walls. As they made their way to the basement, Jake paused. "You ever notice how quiet it's gotten?" "Yeah, it's like the world outside just stopped." A heavy silence enveloped them, broken only by the faintest sound, a muffled growl reverberating from deep within the mansion's bowels. "Let's check it out," Jake said, his curiosity outweighing caution. Reluctantly, Emma followed him down the narrow staircase, the air growing colder and more oppressive. The light from their flashlights flickered, casting shadows that danced unsettlingly along the walls. As they reached the bottom, an instinctual dread spilled over Emma like ice water. She was sure they were no longer alone. Then came the howl. It vibrated through the stone walls, primal and fierce. It was not the howl of the wind, nor the distant call of a dog. It was a sound belonging to something ancient and lethal. "Quick, we need to get out of here," Emma urged, her heart pounding in rhythm with the nervous rustle of the shadows. But before they could turn back, something crashed against the wall. The shriek of wood splintering cut through the air like glass shattering. "Did you hear that?" Jake whispered, his bravado evaporating into fear. The growl returned, more menacing, weaving through the air, filling the space with a looming threat. Emma and Jake stumbled backward, trying to escape the basement, when a hulking form darted past them, fur glistening like obsidian under the moonlight that filtered through a grimed window. It had eyes the color of molten gold, filled with hunger and fury. They bolted up the stairs, Emma's heart racing as adrenaline propelled her forward. They heard a monstrous growl behind them, echoing in hot pursuit. As Emma flung herself through the door, everything screamed a cacophony of panic. Outside, the world was choked by darkness, no friendly street lamps illuminating their escape. "Where's Lila?" Emma gasped, glancing at Jake, who appeared equally panicked. "I don't know," he shouted, stumbling as they split from the house, darting toward the woods, hoping to find safety. But then they heard it, a blood-curdling scream, echoing through the woods. Emma's blood ran cold. With dread swallowing her whole, she spun on her heel, the screams drowning out her thoughts. "Emma, we can't," Jake pleaded, panic in his eyes. But Emma didn't listen. She had to find Lila. They retraced their steps, running until they reached the edge of the woods. The moon hung high, illuminating the clearing where Lila stood, wide-eyed and frozen. In her hands, Lila clutched a gnarled branch, her face pale, but then the creature lunged from the darkness, massive and wild. Lila's scream turned into terror as the wolf shape morphed before their eyes, a hideous transformation fueled by the allure of the moon. "Run!" Emma screamed, grabbing Lila's arm, but the feral beast lunged, catching Lila by the leg with teeth sharp and glistening. Emma felt time slow, a moment between terror and despair. She turned to run, adrenaline driving her as the beast unleashed a chilling snarl. The last thing she saw before darting into the trees was her friend vanishing into the shadows, eyes pleading. Days later, the town spoke in hushed tones about how 3 friends had gone missing. A ghostly whisper of the werewolf loomed over Grey Hollow, with many vowing to leave the cursed town behind. But Emma remained, a hollow shell of the girl who once dreamt of adventure, now haunted by unanswered screams echoing in the night. And every full moon brought with it the longing howl of Grey Hollow, a reminder that some fates were worse than disappearance. The curse remained, swinging on the ghost of a past too terrifying to forget.